Today we're going to talk about something called funding a trust. This is an important thing to do once you've established the trust that we do most of the time, which is what's called a revocable living trust. The next important thing to do once you've set up the trust is to actually fund the trust. Without funding the trust is just sort of an empty document, and the provisions within the trust really don't have any meaning to what you've done. So when we talk about funding the trust, what we're talking about is actually putting assets into the trust. There are different kinds of assets that can go into a trust. One of those assets, or sometimes people have more than one of these assets, is real estate. So for instance, once you set up a trust, you can do a deed to get property or real estate into the trust. So if it's a joint trust, it would be going probably from a husband and wife to a husband and wife as trustees of a joint living trust. If it's a single person, the deed would be transferring the property from the single person into the single person as trustee of the living trust. You can also put bank accounts into a trust. This is just a change of title. So once you've set up the trust, you take certain documents to the bank, you show the documents to the bank, and then the accounts at the bank will be retitled into the name of the trust. This can also be done with life insurance, or you can potentially name a trust as a beneficiary of a life insurance policy. There are different kinds of trusts that can be done for life insurance. There's an irrevocable life insurance trust that can actually hold title to a life insurance policy and remove it from a person's estate, thereby lowering estate taxes. There are all sorts of different trusts that can be done to hold title to assets. But one of the most important things to remember is that when you've set up a trust, you need to actually fund the trust and put assets into the trust. As part of every one of our trust signings, Tenny and I always point out documents within our trust binder that explain how to get assets into the trust, how to fund the trust, and again, if you've done a trust or if you're thinking of doing one in the future, the probably most important thing that you need to do after you've done a trust is to fund the trust and put assets into the trust. So we'd be happy to meet with you again if you want to, or in the future if you'd like to talk about funding the trust. I hope this was helpful. Take care.